So this is workwear, and this is also workwear. And from the rugged canvas and denim of America to the intricate silhouettes of Japanese craftsmen, the pants that people wear in the job tell a story far beyond function. They reflect the history, the culture and the traditions of the people that wear them on the job. But at the same time, some of this clothing has been adopted by youth culture and can now symbolize meaning like rebellion and protest. And today we live in a world where workwear is as much about style as it is about function. So which one matters more and for whom? I want to explore three completely different pants today from three completely different parts of the world. The carpenter pants from the US, the Tobi pants from Japan, and the not so well known sleeper pick, the corduroy carpenter pants from Germany. Let's look at which stories they tell, which blend of utility, history and culture they represent. And my biggest question: why do skaters only adopt American workwear? Let's start with the most common pants, the American carpenter pants. Most popular brands are probably Carhartt and Dickies. These pants are very easy to identify because of their very specifically designed pockets. I mean, keep in mind, those are the pants for carpenters, so they are made to store the tools of a carpenter. This means that you will usually find a side pocket which is initially made for a folding ruler. Another important feature is the hammer loop, which is made for a hammer, or whatever else is important for all of you hipsters. You will find those pants usually made from heavy and durable cotton canvas. And it is said that the origin for canvas pants are sailors who turned used sailcloth into sturdy pants. And it makes sense because back in the day this was the most high-tech durable material. And I mean, I'm a fashion hipster from Berlin. I have never worked a manual labor job in the American Midwest, but I have a friend who does. And he says that at his auto shop, half the guys are wearing canvas Carhartts and the other half are wearing blue jeans. And I still see a lot of discussions and comparisons of Carhartts versus Dickies for workwear online, and there are a lot of reviews online from people who use those pants for workwear. So I would say it is a solid assumption that those pants are still heavily in use in workwear. On the complete other side of the spectrum, we have their use in mainstream fashion, and here their use is massive. It started decades ago when youth cultures like skaters and rappers started to adopt workwear into their daily wear, because these were available, affordable and durable. But also other subcultures like punks and climbers that are about counterculture and counter-consumerism started to adopt those pants. And now we're at a point where the carpenter pants fit perfectly into the current streetwear zeitgeist, where white pants are in.
How do you start wearing wider like jeans?
And skinny jeans are out.
Hey, skinny jeans?
And Instagram and Pinterest is completely full of those pants, and used vintage Carhartt go for crazy money. So it's safe to say that those pants are completely embraced not only by subcultures, but also by mainstream fashion. On the other side of the world, workwear pants have a distinctly different look, although they still look very characteristic. They are often referred to as Tobi pants on the internet or in the West because of the Tobi shukunin. This is the name of the high-rise scaffolding workers that usually wear them. And they are very easy to identify from their silhouette and the billowing material below the knee. The material choice is here not as rigid or characteristic as with carpenter pants or blue jeans. Everything from polyester to cotton blends goes, and you will even find serge fabrics. The origin for the cut and the silhouette though are the knickerbocker pants from World War II uniforms. After the war, the Japanese had to make use of what is available, so a lot of workers adopted the military uniforms that were available in masses. And the look just stuck throughout the years. And they seem to be pretty common in today's workwear, at least how far I can tell from various Reddit threads. What I don't really understand is the functionality of the white legs. Some write-ups say that they act like the whiskers of a cat, so you can feel where the wind is blowing from and also feel for obstacles without looking. But I don't really believe this. To me this looks like a crazy safety hazard. And although I'm a fashion hipster, I've worked some real jobs in German car manufacturing plants. And at least here in Germany, everything that is loose and is hanging from your body is strictly forbidden, because this is a safety hazard where a moving machine could pull you in on those. So my assumption would be that the look is so characteristic for the trade that the pants stuck throughout the years, even when the functionality is not the main reason for them. And I have even one source to support this. According to the salesman of a Japanese workwear brand, the white legs are very comfortable for climbing, but everything else beyond that is just a matter of fashion. And apparently this fashionable look of white pants goes as far as being a symbol of manliness in Japan. So at least to me it's no big surprise that there is even a small niche of enthusiasts who love to wear those pants, even not for work. Although they have never found their way into a bigger subculture like skaters or rappers, similar to Carhartts or Dickies. So I'd rate them like that. Now I have also a complete sleeper pick that probably most of you have never heard of, the German corduroy carpenter pants. Very easy to spot, as this is part of a traditional uniform that is used as a gown, but also as workwear by carpenters and many other trades. They always have to be made out of corduroy because this is a thick and heavy-duty fabric. Additionally, it is easy to brush out sawdust and wood chips out of the fabric. The other stylistic features like the bootcut and the twin zipper indicate the origin story of those pants. The myth says that they come from shipbuilders because the bootcut makes it easier to roll up the pants when you walk through waters. At the same time, the bootcut prevents wood chips from entering your shoes. And the double zipper is for easily removing your pants if you fall into the waters, because the heavy pants that also store all of your tools could pull you down and drown you. At least so the urban myth says, and most German carpenters will tell you this story. Another fun thing is that the color of your workwear indicates the type of trade you are into. So black is usually worn by roofers, brown is for carpenters, grey is worn by stonemasons, and blue is for people who work with metal, and red is for sewists. But their use in today's workwear is not very widespread. So if I pass a big commercial construction site and I see 10 people working there, maybe 2 of them will wear the traditional corduroy workwear pants. Most guys today will wear more modern workwear like this, which is made from modern materials like Gore-Tex, corduroy, and breathable meshes. On the other hand, when I passed last week a local fashion concept store, I saw 3 carpenters working there, and all 3 of them wore the corduroy traditional workwear pants. So in my perception, those pants are mostly worn by people who are very proud of the trade and the history and the heritage behind it. Especially if you do the whole journeyman thing when you are banned from your hometown and travel around the world for 3 years and work on different job sites. Then the whole traditional uniform is a really big thing. This symbolizes that you're traveling right now, that you're probably searching for the next meal, the next place to sleep, but also for the next job. So you will see those types of workwear more in rural areas and also with small carpentry companies and not with big commercial ones. And when it comes to their use in mainstream fashion, I've literally never seen someone wearing those who is clearly not working right now. And I gotta admit, I saw them once on fashion TikTok, but this was literally the exception. So my rating in terms of popularity looks like this. So we got 3 cases where the popularity of workwear pants are widely different. So the American carpenter pants are worn heavily by tradespeople, but are also accepted in mainstream fashion. In Japan, they are worn by tradespeople, and there is a small niche enthusiast community, but there is no real overlap into subcultures or mainstream fashion. And the German corduroy pants are rarely worn by tradespeople and see no use in mainstream fashion at all. So how come there is such a difference in the adoption of workwear into mainstream and especially into subcultures? All would benefit from cheap and durable clothing. Okay, in the US it makes sense. The pants are widely worn by tradespeople, so the youth is heavily exposed to those pants. I would say those pants hit the critical mass of exposition and inspiration. So the youth can see this and can then adopt it into their own subculture of, for example, skaters. And then from the subcultures, the pants can move into mainstream fashion. Easy. Then we have the other extreme, Germany. The popularity of the corduroy pants are very low, so I would say we don't even hit the critical mass of exposition. And therefore the youth can't really see those pants and be inspired by them to incorporate it into their own wear. So we don't see any adoption of subcultures or mainstream fashion. But what's up with Japan? Because the popularity of the workwear pants with the trades is pretty high. Like, they should hit the critical mass of exposition and inspiration. And I mean, we see some niche enthusiast communities who like to wear those pants. So kids could theoretically see enough of those pants to incorporate them into their own subcultures, like skaters. I mean, the utilitarian reasoning for cheap and durable clothes are the same for Japanese skaters as for American skaters. But these pants never transitioned into subcultures like skaters or youth culture in general. So how come? Okay, I already proposed the first basic requirement, the critical mass of exposition, which was probably given in Japan. In Germany, not so much. Another requirement is that youth culture like skaters are available, and I would say Germany and Japan both has those. But why do Japanese or German skaters not adopt the local workwear? I mean, their utilitarian reasoning should be the same as in the US, right? I would assume it has to do with the cultural influence of America. And I can only speak from the perspective of a German kid. While American skaters were mostly exposed to American skate culture and the local influences around them, German skaters have always been influenced by America. At least the German skaters from my youth always tried to recreate the look of American skaters. And I can imagine that something similar happened in Japan. It makes sense that when presented with an existing idea of how a skater should look like, through magazines like Thrasher, MTV, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and so on, it is easier to conform to this idea, to existing role models, than to develop an own identity and create something new. At the same time, America is the biggest exporter of pop culture. At least in Germany, a lot of the youth culture is heavily inspired and influenced by American pop culture. Like, a lot of the music that we listen to here is American. And when I went to Japan, I was very surprised to find that a lot of the thrift stores stored mostly 80s and 90s American clothing, and not so much Japanese fashion. So I would make the bold guess that Japanese skaters and other subcultures have also been heavily influenced by American pop culture. And I mean, stuff like Amatora exists that documents the influence of American culture to Japanese style. So I would say my guess is not that bold. And I also wondered if this is the only case where a piece of utilitarian, non-cool clothing had a subculture and then was adopted by mainstream fashion. So another example that comes to my mind are the American fatigue pants. These were American military pants that were highly available after the Vietnam War and and were then adopted by subcultures like the hippies, the anti-war movement, but also by climbers and punks. Again, critical mass of exposition was given because these were highly available. But this never happened to German military surplus, or Japanese, as far as I'm aware of. So I guess the whole thing of American influence of pop culture overshadowing the development of an own subculture might be a thing. Or if you know some other examples that would prove me wrong, please do write an essay in the comments. I would really enjoy reading those. And also my jealous German army trainers don't count. Like, no high fashion designer is allowed to be involved in this. I hope you liked the video. I'm still in the process of practicing those video essays. And if you enjoyed this one, you should probably check out one of the other ones.